Hello and welcome to your Microsoft Excel training with Softclue Data Empowerment CIC. Microsoft Excel is a powerful tool used to organize, calculate, analyze, and present data. It is widely used in offices, businesses, schools, hospitals, banks, and many other industries around the world. With Excel, you can track expenses, manage records, analyze data, create reports, and make better decisions. Excel is one of the most in-demand digital skills today. Employers expect workers to understand Excel, and many jobs require it. Whether you want to work in administration, finance, data, customer service, or run your own business, Excel is a skill that will always be useful. In this course, you will learn how to navigate the Excel interface, enter and format data, use formulas and functions, create charts and reports, organize and analyze information, work confidently with spreadsheets. No prior experience is required. We will start from the basics and build step by step. Don't worry if Excel looks confusing at first. With practice, it becomes simple and even fun. The key is to stay consistent, ask questions, and practice what you learn. By the end of this program, you will be able to use Excel with confidence in your personal, academic, and professional life. Let's get started.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is just a reminder that this session is currently being recorded, and for the sake of attendance and quality purposes, and in line with UK GDPR, we are not required to share our personal information during this session. Please use the chat for questions, and the facilitator will address them at the end of the class. And for any form of safeguarding concerns, you can contact the email on the screen, safeguarding@softcluecic.uk. And to avoid distractions, I would also be turning off my camera so we can concentrate on the business of the day. All right, thank you so much. So before I continue, I would want us to all have our Excel software opened, either by opening the information I sent last week, the data. The data contained like more than 55 rows, and we will be working on this data today to ensure that we practicalize whatever it is that makes someone an analyst using Microsoft Excel. But before I continue, let's quickly have a recap of what the previous tutor mentioned last week in introducing us to the Excel interface. All right, but to quickly build on that, I would just like to reiterate that Excel has exactly 1,048,576 rows. And you can check that by when you click on the control button on your keyboard, when you hold the control button and you click on the first cell, your cell A1, as you can see me do that right now. When I hold the control key on the keyboard and press down arrow, it takes me to the end of that data. Then once I do that, I press down arrow again. It takes me to the last row in that worksheet. And that is the maximum Excel can take. Well, it's big enough for some organizations, or for most organizations, who would not exceed 1 million rows of data. So we can also go back by clicking Control key or Control button on the keyboard. And when you press the arrow up on your keyboard, it takes you back to where you came from, which is the end of the data where you're working on. And when you press the up key again while holding the control button, it takes you to the top of the worksheet. So we have been able to see the beginning and the end of the entire worksheet. And to reiterate, worksheets are like pages in the book, while the entire book is the Excel workbook or the entire file. And also regarding the columns, the last column in the Excel worksheet ends with XFT, I think. So when we click Control, when you hold Control on your keyboard and you move forward to your use the arrow right key, it takes you to the end of that data by the right. But when you press the arrow right key again, it takes you to the last column on the worksheet. That is XFD. XFD. If you have done that, you just let signify in the chat box so I can be aware that someone is following me. Right, I just need to know that someone just did that. Oh, someone said they missed the last class and they need the document again. All right, let me see if I can share the document here. Oh, thank you, Olumuyiwa. You just did that. That's lovely. Okay, so I would. Okay, let me just see if I can share the document with you, so we can all be on the same page. So we can have. Okay, thank you, Muyiwa. Thank you, Martins. All right. So I'll be sharing the document now. Let me see. I actually sent a link, but I would make the document available right now. Um, I'll just find it. 10% downloads. Version, I think. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think I can. Okay, I think I can just paste the link here for you, so it doesn't draw us back. Let me quickly go to my drive. Okay, and share this link for you. Share it with you. All right, so there's the link to the data we'll be working on. You can just pick the learner version. I think I gave it a name, the learner version of practical, Softclue Excel practical learner version or something. Okay, so we're starting now. I assume you have it on your system already, and many other people have it. So we would start the practical right now. So I'm going back to my Excel, and to make this class interactive, I would be typing on the screen where necessary. Okay, so to reiterate, the Excel environment, this top part is called the ribbon, and the ribbon contains some tabs. We have the File tab, we have the Home tab, we have the Insert tab, we have the Draw tab, we have the Page Layout tab, the Formulas tab, the Data tab, the Review tab, the View tab, the Automate tab, the Help tab, and the Acrobat tab. All these tabs have their contents. For instance, the Insert tab has so many groups. These items are in groups. We have the Tables group, Illustration group, Control groups, and so on. In the Home tab, we have the Clipboard group, the Font group, the Alignment group, the Number group, the Styles group, and so on. The same with the Formulas tab. It has so many functions around. And also with the Data tab, it has the transform data, queries, data type, sort and filter, and so on. All these tabs usually are even interconnected, because some items might be in a tab and still be in another tab. It doesn't mean that it's a mistake. It's just for you to have direct access to it. For instance, in the Home tab, you can see the conditional formatting, and I'm very sure if you get to the Home tab, you will still see in the Data tab, you still see something similar to that. You see the advanced, the sorting is also available in the Data tab, and also the sorting is also available in the Home tab. So it's so the Excel environment is designed to make everything accessible to you. But so we leave the theory part. But I just like I said, I actually needed to familiarize you again with the environment before we continue. So to reiterate, Excel has 1,048,576 rows. It has 16,384 columns, which the last column is XFD, and it's actually can handle large data sets. It is used globally in almost every industry. 80% of office jobs nowadays in this generation require basic Excel knowledge. Either we like it or not, that is the fact. 80% of all office jobs in this generation require you to have some basics of Excel knowledge. So today, you're learning a global professional tool. All right, so I want to believe that David already has the data to work on. That's why I'm trying to a bit delay the process. And right now it's 1:15, so let us start. So we'll be working on this data today. And this data includes instructions in another sheet. If you open this sheet, I already stated the instructions of what we are going to do there. It's just like, let's assume we are in an office environment, an office setting where you are the data analyst. And before you start working on the data, it will have to come with some specific instructions, either from your boss or based on the operational arrangement of the company. You know what to do, and it is just like giving you your job description. So these are the tasks we'll be carrying out on this data today. We'll convert the raw data into a table. We'll clean the customer names using the right formulas or syntax. We'll standardize the product names. What I mean by doing that is changing the right cases, maybe to uppercase or lowercase. We'll check for duplicates in this data. We'll create another column where we're able to put the right data that we think we want inside, just like creating new columns, then, filled with some redefined data based on our calculations and discretion. Or let me just say critical thinking, because critical thinking skill is very, very important in data analytics. In fact, critical thinking skill is important in our daily living. So when it comes to data analytics, we always have to apply the critical thinking skills, putting the right thing in the right place. And also, we will be applying some conditional formatting based on our discretion. And on a bit advanced level, we will be creating what we call pivot tables. Just today, we will do everything. We also ensure that we create some charts. Let's just say the chart will be for executive summary, executive view, should in case we are presenting our analysis to a boss, or not even to a boss, even to ourselves. It makes things easier to look or view from a perspective at a glance. We are able to summarize whatever we have done just by looking at it. We are able to see what it all depicts. So let's go back to the raw data in this sheet 1, and let's do what we call data assessment. What is data assessment? Data assessment, to me, I would say checking the data all around, seeing where there are issues. And one of the issues we can see here, first of all, if you are someone who is conversant with English or who knows how to put things right in English, will know that names should not be starting with small letters. And during the data entry, I think it was just entered anyhow. So it is your duty as a data analyst to standardize this in the right format. And the good thing about Excel is, once you know the right formula to use or the right syntax to use, you don't have to type it one by one, because you might have so many data to work with. Now here we have over 55 rows of data. Let's say we have 59 rows. If I start typing, replacing each lowercase with uppercase one by one, then I will be wasting our time. The same with every other thing. So knowing the right syntax to use makes the job easier. So we have 55 plus messy data. I'll call it messy data. So what we'll be doing by standardizing this is what we call data cleaning, data transformation, data cleansing, as some people would say. When you clean data, you're making the data look appealing to the eyes. You're making the data look standard, formatting it for the real-time use. Okay? So things we are looking into: the inconsistent capitalization. We're looking into the duplicate entries, because as I can see, there are 2 John Smiths here, and for the same row, John Smith purchased on 22/01/2026 for 500 in West region, and the same entry is here. So it shows there is a duplicate, and it might not even be for John Smith alone. It might be for so many others, even though some John Smith also patronized them, but he bought mouse on this day, not laptop. So if you're doing your data, your duplicate check, you still have to be sure they are actually duplicates. It's one of those things we are still going to look into, so that you don't remove an important data and call it a duplicate. Duplicate check is important, but at the same time, be very vigilant so you do not take out important data while trying to do that. And one of the things I will always advise is always retain your raw data. If you're going to work on the data, you can just do the right thing by copying the entire data into a new worksheet. Then you work on it over there, so that should in case there's any mistake going forward, you can always revisit your source. But if you work on the main data and get rid of something important, it might be difficult to get it back, or you might have to start again, maybe by revisiting the file. So one of those things we have to look into is the mixed product naming and the multiple regions. The instruction sheet already says it all, what we need. So now, the first thing we're going to do is turning this raw data into a table. What do we do? Just click anywhere in this data, like I'm clicking around here, just click anywhere in this data. You press Ctrl A, it highlights every part of the data in that worksheet. And when you do that, just press Ctrl T. It does what? It gets you the table ready. You can see my table has headers. It's saying you should have it checked, which is yes. Just press OK. It has converted it into a table. You can give your table a name. Let's give the table a name. Let's say TBL or table sales. Sales. Yeah. Or let me just call it table 1. Good. Oh, let me just take this out of it. TBL. Good. So we have the table ready and we can see what happened. It converted it into a table. The table now has a drop down on the upper part of the row for us to do some sorting and filtering, maybe if we need that later on. And it is looking a bit sensible. But that is not all. What we have just done is just a table design. And it automatically designed the table for us. The next step now is doing some basic formatting. Let's see some basic formatting we can do. Assuming this date is not well standardized, the first thing we can do is check this column called the date. And let's go to home. Okay. I'm looking for a particular, okay, this is it. Yeah, no, this environment. And select, let's give it the short date. That's just the formatting we can give the date. Yes, the short date. The short date will keep it intact in this format and has made Excel to recognize that this is actually a date on the calendar, not just some numbers, but a date. Also, we can do that for quantity. Let's tell Excel that these are actually numbers that are countable, not just numbers. So, automatically Excel would leave it in general, but we have to standardize this thing so we can be specific about what we want. So in this number group, remember I mentioned tabs and groups, all in the ribbon. So in this number group, we'll be going to let's select number for the quantity. And one thing that would happen is it would give it some decimal places. By default, 2 decimal places. So for these 2 decimal places, we can reduce it by doing what? Just click on this. This will reduce the number of values in the decimal places. It will show fewer decimal places. So what we have done now is we have been able to format the date and the quantity. Also, let's standardize the currency. We can see the currency does not have a specific value, whether it's dollar or pound or naira. I think the right thing to do is when we click on this column again, or this particular column, come here, you would see currency. That is for the price. Automatically based on your region. If you are joining this class from United States, this would be showing in dollars or whatever they spend in your country. But because I'm taking this class from the United Kingdom, that is why I have pound sterling. This can also be changed if I'm working in an environment where where another currency is required, or probably I'm an account officer and I'm working on dollar figure. How do I change that? So when you go to more number formats, it should show you a window. Oh, I'm sorry, my system is a bit not responding because of that. It should show us a window if you have done that already. See what's happening here. So the more number format should show us a window where you can select a currency. and I change this to currency. Good. So I'll suspend that for now. But the good thing is that you can always give it a try when you go to more formats. So the next thing we're going to do is clean some data. Let's create a new worksheet, just like I specified that we have to copy this entire data and put it in a new sheet. So let's copy this old table, Control A, Control C, and call this, let's call it a clean, or let's call it cleaned data. Cleaned data. So let's paste that here by pressing Control V. I think to copy it with the entire worksheet and the header, we might have to, yes, Control V. So I now have date, the names, the products, the quantity, the price, and the region. Now another version that we are able to work on while retaining the raw data. Here's the raw data, we are leaving it there, and we're working on the cleaned data. Now, let's add 4 columns to this data. Let's call the column 1 customer names. That will be the clean version. Let's say customer names clean. Customer names clean. Another column, let's call it product name or product clean. All right, so another column, let's call it region clean. And the last column, let's call it the total. Good. So we have 4 additional columns added to this table, intending to add more data from the original data. And to clean these customer names, to clean the customer names, remember what we intend to do is change or standardize these formats in a way that they will have uniform either uppercase or title case, or make everything lowercase. I think according to the instructions, it says we should use, yes, you should clean the customer names using proper and trim. So what we are going to do is called trimming. Trimming would take any additional space bar that was added to it and make it look proper. And proper would change the case to either title case, or the proper will make it a title case, upper will make it an uppercase, while lower will make it lowercase. So we are using proper to make it title case. How do we do that? By putting the right formula in the cell. The formula for proper and trim at the same time, when you press equal sign and type proper, it gives you, the syntax comes up already. But because we still want to add trim, you open a bracket. It's asking for the text, but I'm still adding trim. And now I have an open bracket where I can put whatever I want. So once I click on this cell, it adds it automatically to the formula, saying, because I've pointed at Mary Johnson, do the right thing for the first cell, and it's going to do it for others. So I close the bracket, close the first bracket for trim, and close the second bracket for proper. When I press enter, can you see what it has done? It has done the right data cleansing for that column customer name. Every row in that column has been perfected, reaching their names well with their title cases. No more small letter starting the name of a person. Instead of typing it one by one, I just used the right formula. The next thing we're going to do is standardize the product names. And to standardize the product names, we might determine, or we might decide to make the product names upper this time, just to use that formula, upper and trim. And to do that, remember the process, equal sign and upper open bracket, trim, then open bracket. Remember to click on the exact data we want to work on, the product. Then close the bracket for trim, close the bracket for the upper. Then when you click on enter, it changes everything to uppercase. That is data cleansing for you. We are cleaning this data gradually, and it's making better sense right now. Okay, so we move forward by using the lower formula, the lower trimming formula, maybe for the region. To do that, we just do the same thing, equal sign. Let's type lower. So whenever you think you need the uppercase based on discretion, you can just determine. We can decide to change this to proper if we want. We can change it to lower if we want. But I just want us to practicalize the three types of standardization possible: the proper, the upper, and the lower. So upper trim, lower trim rather, and open bracket. All you just have to do is click on the cell, the first cell, east, then close this and close it again. Then it has standardized everything to lower case. Okay, I think that is instruction 1 completed. Instruction 1 completed. So we can just color code. We have done this. We have turned it into a table. Good. Clean customer using proper and trim. We have done that. Standardize proper product names. We have done that. Next thing is remove duplicate. Okay. Now let's go back to the data. We want to check the duplicate. I think before we even check duplicate, let's check we can complete this total. We have not completed this this column. So let's see if we can get the total price there. So what will be the total price? Mathematically, the total price will be number of quantity, or the quantity bought by a customer multiplied by the price of the product. So we can determine that based on the information we have already. And that is just a simple formula we can apply here. When we press your equal to, just click on the quantity, then multiply times, just click on this again, the price. And that is it. It's as simple as that. If you want me to do that again, I can do it again. But here is the formula already shown in the formula bar. And the name bar will tell you what you have done. So the total as quantity times price. We give the total spent by the customer, or the total received from a customer. The total received from Mary Johnson on this date was £450. Okay, now that we have completed our columns, we can move on to the next task, which is removing duplicates. Just like we have analyzed earlier, that there might be duplicates in this data. We found one already. John Smith bought laptop on 22 January, and it repeated itself in row 5. 3 laptops, 3 laptops. Definitely it's a duplicate. And so that we won't be working with false figures, we have to quickly check for duplicate. Because if by now we submit this data and go ahead to add up this total, the owner of the shop will think they have enough money or more than enough money, whereas they are working on duplicates. So the importance of duplicate is, number 1, so that we are working on correct data. We need to ensure that, the properties of a good data is correctness. If a data is not correct, no matter how beautifully the chart or visualization is made, everything is nonsense. Because let's just assume, as a stakeholder who has investors who have invested so much in my business, and my data analyst is presenting me a data full of duplicates, I would not be smart enough if I'm presenting such data to get money from investors. So working with duplicate data has ripple effect. It goes a long way. in affecting the reputation of a company or organization. That is why we always look out for duplicates. We cannot be paying salary for a specific employee twice. For instance, let's assume John Smith is an employee that needs to be paid this amount and is appearing again in row 5 and still paid this amount. So we can see that duplicate check is not only regarding customer issues, even regarding employees, even in the healthcare sector. If a client, or let me just say a patient's name, is appearing twice or having double records in a hospital, then definitely there is a problem. An appointment might be booked for the payment or for the patient twice. So duplicate check is not only important when it comes to money matters, it's even important when it comes to health issues. In all organizations, whether health, agriculture, education, because in education, if you have duplicate number of students, you will be working with the wrong data. So let's continue and now work on duplicates. We are removing duplicates based on the original raw feeds and not the cleaned helper columns. What I mean is that we are not working on this. We will be working on this because this is the original fields we brought in, not this. This is just like a helper column. Okay? So in this cleaned data environment, all we just have to do is learn to use the tabs correctly. How do we do that? Go to the data tab in the ribbon, okay? And you would see something related to duplicates, where we remove duplicates. In some versions, you would see it in this environment that says check for duplicate. But even in the home, you will also see it in conditional formatting, where you are able to highlight duplicate. First of all, let's highlight duplicate, and you will see that almost everything came up twice. But based on this, that is why we're having it. If you base the duplicate on either product or quantity, then you will see that not all are duplicates. Just like I mentioned, John Smith bought keyboard, he also bought laptop. So this is not a duplicate. But where he bought laptop twice might be duplicate. So we won't be using this conditional formatting to highlight cells so that it doesn't mislead us. We might only be using it after we are done checking. So what we can do is we can clear the rules. I'm trying to familiarize myself with this version of Excel because this latest version has some additions. Okay, I can clear the rules from the selected sheet. Now I've cleared the rules. The duplicate, let me just say the highlighting is over. So let me go back to the data tab and find where I would check for duplicates. Okay, sort, currency, data type. It's kind of cumbersome here. Trying to check this new version where duplicates are hidden. Okay, I think I can search for it. Let me just search for it. Remove duplicates. Okay, I think this is it. Remove duplicates. So remove duplicates is out, and we would base the duplicates on, we are only going to tick date, customer name, product, quantity, price, and region. The date, customer name, product, quantity, price, and region, and discard the new ones because we are working on the original data. Now let's click OK. The duplicates are gone. What does it say? 4 duplicate values found and removed. 54 unique values remain. Note that counts may include empty cells or spaces. There are no empty cells or spaces in our data. So we are building our trust on that product. Now we are sure that there is nothing like John Smith buying laptop twice, just like it's repeated in row 5. Now row 5 has something different. That's evident that the duplicate is gone. So 4 duplicates occurred and they have been removed. That is another milestone ticked. I think we can highlight that and call it a job well done. The next thing we are doing is create total column. Okay, I think we already did this. We created total column. I think we only did it before duplicates. And now we're going to do some calculations. Good. Now let's go back to the home button, the cleaned data. Our data is looking a bit fleshy now, looking better. Right? So we have been able to dedupe the data. I think we can copy the clean table to a new sheet and we can call it dedupt data. Let's just do that. This is the clean table now, containing this customer name. Or we can even copy the entire table. Copy the entire table, Control C, and put it in a clean sheet and call it the deduplicated. Yes, dedupt data. Good. I think there's a typo here. Dedupt data. So we now have a clean data that has been deduplicated. Okay. So moving on, we are moving on to the formulas. Yes, we are creating some total revenue. And the table here is TBL says we give it a name, TBL or something. So we would have to create a table called total revenue. Or even from here, for the sake of our time, I'm trying to really do something before we run out of time. But at the same time, we should be able to. Okay, so let me just create a new place. Let me call it charts. Okay. Charts. Good. Okay. So now here, for the charts, let's bring in this average equals to average of CBL. What's the name of our table? We call it table 1. Trying to remember the name of that table. Control T. Okay. I might have to discard this chart. Okay, for the deduct data, we're just going to insert the information here. So when I click Control A and I go to insert, we're going to create a chart. So we'll continue. Let's do some total addition. So to sum up how much we made, when you click on sum, so we're going to end this here, the last row, and click on sum. All right, so it ends there. We click on sum, and it's going to tell us how much we made all over. So that's £33,850 altogether. And moving forward, for the product and total sales for the product, I think this is what I'm trying to work on right now. Let's create a new one. Good. So let's insert a chart for it. Let's insert a chart for it. Let's make it like a bar chart. And it's looking a bit sensible here, even though I intend to create a pivot table in the next 6 minutes before we go. Not for the region. Trying to, for the price, we can also determine how much was bought altogether. To know if we made any profit, you can highlight this to the end and give a total. I think there is an issue with my Excel workbook. Okay, so when we total this, we should have the data here. So the total price of what was bought was £9,430. And based on the quantity, this was the total. So we can also add this up. We'll add up the quantity. The data should be here. Let me see if I can just do this, make it snappy. Okay, good. So a total of 180 items were bought, and we have a total of £9,430 were the prices of the items if checked separately, and the grand total of £33,000 from it. So we can pin this or freeze it to the top, because as I'm scrolling, one of the things, the features Excel offers is that we can freeze the top row. Now that I've frozen it, I can scroll and it doesn't have to leave again. So familiarizing yourself with the Excel environment is key when it comes to data analytics, so that you know what tool you might need per time. Okay, so moving on in the next 3 minutes, because we're running out of time already, but I'm glad we have been able to clean this data and deduplicated the data, even though we have not done justice perfectly to the chart of a thing. But I'm trying to stick to time, as 1 hour is the allocated time for this course. So we would have this data handy. Now we can have it saved somewhere as deduplicated data and cleaned data. Remember, this is the raw data. In fact, the raw data was not a table, but now we have the deduplicated data that now has the clean customer name, now has a clean product name, it now has a clean region, and has total of items bought altogether with their sum, and also telling us the sum of quantity sold to the customer. And this data, moving on, what we'll be doing in our next class, we would ensure that the product name come in just the title of each product sold and well grouped into sections. Because if I should start that now, I don't want to rush through it, because I want a situation where you'll be able to learn this concept, well. So I would be saving this file for the next class, so that we are able to run greater charts on it and make it visualized in a way that you are able to apply pivot tables. And if you have questions regarding the little we have been able to do today in data cleansing and transformation, you can leave a message for me, either through the chat, or you can even send me an email. I will definitely respond to you. And by my time, we have 2 minutes more to go, so we can use that to entertain questions. Thank you. Then let me check the chat. There are new messages. Okay, use the formula again for the names. Okay, you got answer to this. Sorry, I'm just seeing your message. Sorry about that. So in the next 1 minute, if you still have any question, you can leave a message in the chat. You can leave a message in the chat. Okay, removing duplicates. Mr. Olumiyiwa said they need help removing duplicates. Okay, do you have any issues with that? We can give you opportunity to share your screen so we can point to you what you would do, but make sure you don't have your personal information on the screen. Can you hear me, Mr. Olumiyiwa? Yes, thank you for promptly doing that and for following the process. We can see your screen right now. Okay, removing duplicate. I also encountered that problem at first, because I can see that the newest version of Excel is not making it easily accessible. But you can click on search. Okay, someone had issues with adding currency to the price. It took currency symbol to the end of the number. That's not an issue. Just type remove duplicate there and you should be able to find it out. Okay, type remove duplicate and we would look at what parameter you are trying to duplicate with. Click on enter. No, just type remove. Let's see if that alone will give you access to it. No, that's it. That's it. You can see best action, removing duplicate. Yes. Good. Okay, you have not selected. Actually, this is what you're supposed to have done. Click on the column B. Yes. Now try it. Remove. RE. Use your backspace again. Let's see if that brings it up. Go to data. Go to the data tab on your system. Go to the data tab beside formulas. Let's search for it now. I don't think. Yeah, go to the data tab. I can see that the duplicate option is I don't know what exactly is happening to the new version of Excel. We need to familiarize ourselves with it. Then go back to the home. No, that's not it. That's not it yet. Go back to home button, then type duplicate. Just type duplicate. Let's see if it come up with something. Type remove duplicate. REM. Just type REM alone. And click on enter. What version of Excel is this? And just type it in the chat box. Or just go to file. Let me see what version it is. It's actually supposed to have it because it's looking like the latest version. But the same issue I encountered when I was trying to teach the class, the remove duplicate thing has been shifted to where we don't even know where it is. Okay, let's go back and try it again. Okay, so go to, I think it should be data. It's usually in data. Okay, I think it's here. But before you continue, you're supposed to have highlighted the customer name. Yes. Now try it again. Control A. Try Control A. Select all your data. Good. Now try it again. Good. It's here. So click on it. Then scroll down. Uncheck from custom, custom 2, custom 3, custom 4. Okay. Base the duplication on that and click OK. Good. You can see that 4 duplicate values are found and removed. You have been able to successfully dedupe the data. Yes, someone else have another question. Pisoye, you said adding the currency to the price, it took the currency symbol to the end of the numbers. Oh, I would have said you should share your screen, but you can contact me maybe after the class because the time is up right now. And I really apologize for taking 5 minutes extra of our time. But I believe next class will be better. We'll continue from where we stopped. This data still has a long way to go. We are taking this data to Power BI. We are taking this data to visualization level, and we are also going to work on this data to the security level where we're able to secure this data by the end of the entire training session. So this data we're working on still has a long way to go. Thank you so much for attending this class today. I really appreciate your attendance, and goodbye. I've enjoyed the rest of your weekend.